13 November 2023. In this news flash, I'm going to talk about something that I have spent many hours on trying to figure out because it never made sense to me. And this morning I saw this tweet from Sir Kabona Alfred on Twitter. I have found the answer to the question, who ordered the killing of Chris Hani? 5 days in office, Mr. de Klerk ordered the release of freedom fighters. And from there the negotiations for a new South Africa took place. The ANC was the most popular party at the time and likely the next government of South Africa. But they didn't have something big that will win them the elections. They needed a big story that will shock the black masses. In 1992, the majority of whites voted yes in a referendum. A whopping 68% of whites said yes, apartheid must die. The ANC leaders saw that as a threat to winning the national elections, which were looming, so they needed a big thing which would demonize the whites and kill even the referendum story, which shows that whites wanted unity with blacks. So the ANC leaders at the time ordered Janus Valus and Dawie Lewis to kill Chris Hani, who was popular at the time and knew that would give them greater success at elections because the majority of black voters use emotions in the ballot box. Chris Hani was sacrificed. Janus and Lewis were arrested within 24 hours because the ANC tipped the apartheid police where they would find the killers. It was the fastest arrest in the history of South Africa. The ANC plan worked very well because de Klerk was forced to call the elections as soon as possible before the masses lost their angry feelings. The ANC from the death of Hani pushed the elections to be held as soon as possible. The ANC comrades used Chris Hani as a sacrifice for them to be in the promised land. Today they are still using the same tactics to win elections. Whites this, whites that, whites this, whites that. The ANC comrades ordered the killing of Chris Hani. Jacob Zuma was the head of the ANC intelligence when Hani was assassinated. 10 people in the ANC's top structure knew about the plot to kill Chris Hani. Well, I am not going to say what he is saying here is the truth, but it makes a lot of sense. Something else that you should think about is the moment that Chris Hani disappeared off the scene, Peter Mokaba started with his shit and Winnie Mandela. Chris Hani was the only guy that could keep those guys and most of the younger black politicians and activists under control. They actually feared him. I have said it many times in the written Skidmarks, and I've mentioned it from time to time in some of my video Skidmarks, that it was a bad day for South Africa when Chris Hani was killed, because it doesn't matter whether you differ from his views. He was a man that believed in discipline, and he did not allow people in the party to run wild. He was also the one that said his biggest fear was when a black government takes control, those senior government officials will start plundering the state. And we have it like that. This is where we sit today, with a collapsed country. As I said in my earlier Skidmark, fucked beyond repair. I don't care how much of a dreamer you are, but if you have it in your head that a change in government can save the country, You are living in a dream world. The country is beyond repair. Beyond repair. First of all, it's going to take a hell of a long time to rebuild the government structures that was fucked up by the ANC. Some guys reckon 30 to 40 years. I'm not so sure, because the biggest problem is, where are the skills that built the original one? It's not there. It's gone. Those skills are gone. Second of all, these up and coming black so-called leaders do not have the experience or the skills, but most importantly, they cannot cope with this uneducated, unskilled, undisciplined masses. That is a major issue. Please give me a like and a subscribe and share the thing. Thank you for your support.